Do you remember The Blind Side, the heartwarming football movie about Michael Oher's journey from homelessness to being adopted and eventually making it to the NFL? The Blind Side is arguably the most famous movie ever made about adoption, but there's one big problem with it, and that is that Michael Oher himself, the main character in the film, was never actually adopted. The Blind Side is one of those movies that truly aged like milk. It aged horribly, and Sandra Bullock pretty much swept the awards for her performance as the savior white adoptive mother who rescues the foster child, the basically illiterate black kid, and turns him into an NFL superstar herself. There's a scene in the film, arguably the most famous scene in the entire movie, where Michael Oher is struggling in practice and his white adoptive mother pulls him aside in front of the entire team and says, "Hey, you know how you protect me from everyone? Well, pretend that I'm the quarterback and protect the quarterback like you protect me." And that basically turns him into this superstar football player who eventually goes into the NFL. And of course, the most famous scene from The Blind Side is complete fiction. Michael Oher's adoptive mother, I put in quotes because she never actually adopted him, never attended practice, let alone showed up on the field and coached him into becoming an NFL superstar. Michael Oher actually filed a lawsuit against the Tuohy family, this family that, supposedly adopted him. It was actually a legal conservatorship, which Michael didn't really know until many, many years later. Michael actually won a victory against them where the Tuohy family had to agree to pull down any mention of Michael Oher being their adopted son and to stop saying that going forward. Additionally, the probate court judge dissolved the nearly 20-year conservatorship. That's a big deal because there are still ongoing financial disputes between Oher and the Tuohy family, but really at the heart of all of this, the Tuohys made a bunch of money doing public speaking engagements, making up to $50,000 for each speaking appearance, presenting themselves as Michael Oher's adoptive family. Michael's lawsuit pissed off a lot of people, obviously including the Tuohy family, but also including the author who wrote the book that turned into The Blind Side, Michael Lewis. The same Michael Lewis who wrote the famous book Moneyball. The Tuohy family are calling all of this a shakedown, but Michael Lewis is taking all of it a step further, saying what we're watching is a change of behavior. This is what happens to football players who get hit in the head. They run into problems with violence and aggression. It doesn't honestly seem like Michael Lewis was ever a huge fan of Michael Oher. In an interview at Google headquarters, Michael Lewis said of Oher, "Google him now, he's on the Dean's List at Ole Miss," which says a lot about the Dean's List at Ole Miss. But as it turns out, Michael Lewis is not exactly an impartial observer here. He is a longtime friend of Sean Tuohy, the adoptive father, as the two attended the same school together when they were kids in New Orleans. Michael Oher had a long and successful NFL career, making millions and even winning a Super Bowl, but to most casual football fans, he's just the guy who Sandra Bullock taught to play football in a movie. Michael Oher was paraded around as an adoption success story for decades, and the Tuohys got rich doing this, but in reality, Michael Oher was already a 5-star recruit before he ever met the family. The family just engaged with him because they wanted to send him to their alma mater, Ole Miss, where they were huge donors.